Outer suburbs are mostly a gold mine for meeting higher mate value girls, girls that are a lot hotter than what you would usually get in the higher flow, more competitive areas of your city. And I'm going to explain just how that works and how that can help you out as well. But before we kick it off, I'm Dave and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. I've got my 3-part video series in the description. Just enter your email address and I'll send out a 3-part video series on what is the sweetheart or cold approach, what is the most advanced type of day game you could be using, and my morning routine for overcoming social anxiety or approach anxiety. Plus, it also comes with a free PDF. So, what is the outer suburbs, and why are the outer suburbs such a good idea? Now, this is something that I've never really noticed anybody else talking about. This is my own novel discovery. Because very few coaches out there will tell you to go to the outer suburbs, the quieter areas. They're always telling you to go, you need to go into the city, you need to go to the highest population areas, the highest flow, because their rationale is more girls equals more approaches and therefore equals, more girlfriends and lays, etc., more success. Now, that only tends to work if your only solution to having terrible shit game is by increasing your approach rate. Now, I get it, there is a ceiling. Even if you have the best game in the world, your mate value, how much money you have, hypergamy, your socioeconomic status, just your vibe, your charisma, all these other things combined, how jacked you are, how tall you are, what demographic you are, they're all factors. There is a ceiling. There's a ceiling, and with that ceiling, depending on where your game's at, you can pierce that ceiling. But to some extent, there's a ceiling, okay? And then you get to the point where the only solution is more approaches, right? But I have noticed a hack, and that only comes with copious amounts of experience, and that's what I bring to the table. The outer suburbs are usually a gold mine. So for instance, if I speak like this, I have a city accent, I sound like I'm from the CBD. I don't sound the same as guys that are out in, say, country towns. They have more of a country accent. And when a girl, because a girl is naturally attracted to a guy that is of higher status, right? If she hears a different accent, she's instantly going to associate your accent with the city and therefore higher status. She's just going to assume that you're more educated, you're making more money, you're more civilized. She's going to make a lot of assumptions based on just not only the way that you look, but the way that you behave, your accent. And she's also, after speaking to you for a couple of seconds, she's going to ask you, are you from the city? And you're going to tell her that you're from the city. And instantly, even though you might be less attractive to the competition in her little town, you are going to go over the top of them. You are going to have an advantage over the top of these guys because of your perceived extra value, because you're more of a city boy. The outer suburbs are usually a gold mine, and you will notice that the girls from the outer suburbs, they might be a little bit less sophisticated, but when it comes to attractiveness level, they're still going to be just as attractive as the hottest of the hottest girls that you will find in the CBDs. And so this is like a little hack where you can identify little towns that are kind of in the middle of nowhere. They're kind of in the middle of a large, not the big city. Outside there will be satellite towns outside of a big city, and those satellite towns will have 2 satellite towns, and there'll be a little town in the middle of nowhere trapped. So those satellite towns will have nightclubs, but the girls won't have the ability to go to the nightclubs. So that you just wipe out night game altogether for this girl. This girl's not going to the nightclubs and sleeping with a lot of guys. So therefore, she's usually a little bit more innocent. Also, her only real option is parties in this social setting, and she's only got an access to guys that everyone knows. And the only other way that she can meet guys is by using online dating or something like that, where thirsty guys will be messaging her from outer suburbs or even all the way in the city, and they're just too far away, so it never actually happens. On top of that, the girls that they might have an Instagram, and they might have a lot of people following them on Instagram. They might have a lot of fans in the city, but it's just so far away, you see? And so if you were to go to her town and do some day game and meet her in a charismatic way, and introduce yourself, and you're instantly going to be ahead of all the other guys in that area. And so I suggest that you guys at least think about what I'm saying here. It is kind of a way that you don't need to leave your own country, because a lot of guys, they'll go from a first world country and they'll pick out a third world country. They'll hit that third world country, and because they have an advantage, because instantly the girls in that third world country are going to know that you have a different accent, you come from a first world country, all this perceived value because you come from a first world country. Even though your full-time job is cleaning toilets, you still have a lot of perceived value in that third world country. Just say you go to Thailand or Brazil or Eastern Europe, you're going to have more perceived value, because you're coming from a first world country. Obviously, everybody knows that, but when you look at your own little city and you think, okay, do I really need to travel overseas? I would argue that you don't, because there's gold mine little towns, satellite towns around your big city that are just absolute gold mines, and they're an untapped resource. And I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention because I don't think anyone really thinks about that. I have noticed myself that I'm able to meet and date girls way hotter than I'm able to get in the CBDs in those smaller towns. And that's just an option for you guys out there. Again, in the description, I've got my 3-part video series with the bonus PDF. Just enter your email and I'll get that out to you straight away. I've also got my, you can sign up to do some coaching with me, and you can learn the sweet art of cold approach in person, which is the most effective way. And I've got a lot of testimonials as evidence of how good I am at coaching my clients. I'll see you guys in the next video.